Babies, ever since you've been gone, things have been going on. Ever since you've been here, things have been getting kind of weird, babies. Oh, yeah, and really strong into love. We got the love vibe going on here on the Coyote Medicine Show, only on the Hazy Radio Network. Your ticket to flight here in the great daylight, and again in the middle of the night tonight. You get a repeat performance at midnight tonight and Saturday night repeat performances, and we're back again Sunday night full on with babies. Just one big old show after another. This weekend promises to be some real transformational times for everybody as it's developing. I'm seeing some really good energies in place all this week long. We've been seeing a great gathering of ancient souls here on this earth, a gathering of all the lives that live in this universe. Everyone has at least a couple of representatives here, and some a lot more than that. These are family. These are friends come from the great beyond. And as we get closer and closer in the uniting of the paradigms, babies, these beings become more and more apparent. So we're kind of preparing ourselves for these moments when everything in this reality begins to dissolve away completely. I mean, it's already doing it. I know you're noticing it today, man. I know I am in my life as I move around. People's attitudes are changing. People are being far more graceful than they have been. Of course, we've been giving old Crestone some heavy major doses of love, and let's keep it coming this way, babies. Just open your heart, unite at the center of all these hearts that are with you here on this earth, and bring some good energy to Crestone, Colorado, and the surrounding environments for at least 30-35 miles wide in a radius circle. So all are brought into an equitous plane there, and we can begin the divine revelations of our family here on the face of this earth, here in this Crestone area. It's time, and this weekend I think it's on, babies. It's been about a week since Mother God and I stood atop the ziggurat, and I still haven't got the video up, guys. I lost some pictures, etc., but we'll get her done probably sometime next week. After it's all over with. You know, I want you to see how it happened after the fact rather than before. It's a lot more fun that way. Because then you see your personal part in it. You're not so focused on somebody else's part as you are on your own. You can appreciate our parts from afar, but you can see that same part being played in you, babies. We're all in this together. If Mother God and I symbolize anything, it's the gathering of the human heart in the greatest strength, the greatest loving strength possible. See, that's why we hold those energies for you. So again, you can see them replicated and magnified before you, so you begin to understand the deeper side of yourself, the real true heart that lives within you, the caring, loving being that has never gone away. Equivalent to that innocent baby I talk about all the time that comes right from the center of your heart. That's where your love has been hidden away throughout all of these ages of darkness. So if what we've had here is only little bits of this love, can you imagine now the sweetness, light, power that we're going to find inside of ourselves? Can you see all the old weaknesses that we held so dear dissolving away, especially those that make us cling and claw to one another? And, you know, ingratiated ourselves for, you know, eons of time. Put ourselves asunder for the sake of some cravings. Let our whole life get ripped apart and turn into a warring-like community everywhere you look. Wow, baby. It really got rough there. It really did. The warfare between people was bad enough to start with, and then we magnified into war between nations and worlds and things like that. Babies, it's just been totally insane, totally crazy, totally callous, as cold-hearted as it can be. And where do you think such cold hearts arrive from? A little anomaly we created in creation long time ago called the reptilian. Somehow that denser form just didn't work. you know? And so we've been remanufacturing it ever since, in a sense, in a spiritual context, yes indeed. We've been changing its energy since we first created it and bringing it back home to its heart. It's been a long journey, babies. That's a big segment of humanity's journey in darkness. The godlike beings come and become dumb, stupid, completely absent of all powers, and start from there. And on top of that, a heap of control mounted right inside of you from the moment you're born almost until the day you die. Superficially implanted feelings that make you feel inadequate, alone, ashamed, guilty as all get out for some of the things you've done and said and so forth. I mean, wow. And come into this life with past life memories that carry the same shames and guilts. Good grief. Where do you think that comes from? The cold-hearted side that doesn't really see and appreciate life in the way that it should. So we've been all about warming up the cold hearts and de-densifying that form of flesh ever since then. Ever since the beginnings of time. When we, surrendered ourselves to this energy for the sake of bringing it back to the ever-loving heart from which it was created in full conscious presence. The same of all beings in this family throughout this universe. And this family is the one tribe. The vibe tribe. You get in the vibe, you're in the tribe. You get this heart open, you're the one tribe. It's all living inside of you, every bit of it. But the beings that help you create it now will be revealing themselves to you. You'll be amazed at what you see here, babies. And then the memories come flooding in of who you are and where you've been and what you've done in this past that's brought us to this magic moment of now. The transformation, the ascension, the coming forward in the fullness of heart inside of the human form. Babies, it doesn't get any better than this, but we grow from there, so it does. Expansion is what it is. We've contracted life down now to an intense, loving moment here on earth as we are giving birth to our great Mother Earth, as she brings us together in divine union and compels all of humanity through the love in her heart into the love in their hearts, which is the same as hers. The center heart of creation, we are the active members there. Her active children, her babies in motion. We've been living in kind of a womb-like existence, believe it or not, where we could experience these dastardly things like cold-heartedness and warfare between the sexes, warfare between partners and friends, and warfare between everybody, because no one felt together with anyone for the longest of time. It took a lot of that separation to bring us back together, and the sweet moments in the toughest times were the ones that brought us back together, the ones that were able to hold the peace, the love, the healing, the freedom, the energy of real love, spiritual love, love that you feel in your bones, love that you feel in every element of your being, love that empowers all the life around you even further to be more joyful. And those sweet moments were enough to carry us through all of the darkness, the horror of the whole of World War II, offset by one or two sweet moments of love. It's that significant, babies. It doesn't take a whole lot of love to cure everything. And we've got more than we've ever bargained for. Babies, it's back. Our fail-safe switch has gone off. We are assured of the ascension. We are assured of the return to our divine presence inside of each and every person that lives here. Humanity, you are the gods of reality. You're the truth carriers, the truth bearers, the keepers of the dream, who manifest that dream into creation as your heart awakens and remembers it. Babies, that's how we create the divine paradigm, the divine paradise. The Mother God and I are just symbology. We hold that energy, hold that light, but we act according to the dictates of the human heart. We're subject to that. Wherever your consciousness is, that's where we are too, because we're human right along with you. And in that sense, we're undivided. We're all in this together. We merely hold these energies to symbolize something you can recognize in fullness inside of yourself by seeing it reflected in these beings here. that commune with you in the heart, day in and day out. 8 hours a day here on the Hazy Radio Network, man. 3 hours a daytime flight, 5 hours a nighttime flight, babies. 5 days a week, and then you get 2 weekend bonus repeat programs just in case you didn't get it the first time around. And once in a while, I'll throw a repeat in there too if I happen to be busy, doing something else that's super important. Then, sometimes I'll do it. But basically, I try to be here always. I think I've run one repeat program during my live performances in all the time that I've been on so far. So it's been a pretty consistent schedule, and we've stayed right with you because times are intense. And we needed to get through this, to get this journey completed and get on with the beginning, babies, because that's where we're headed. There is no end. This isn't the end of everything as we know it. It's the end of everything that we've thought we knew, yes, and the beginning of everything that really is real and unimagined, yet imagined from our creative imagination, that which lives in the heart, which does this creation. Imagination is a very, very big part of this. It's like a manufacturing tool that you didn't even know you had. They've taught you to use imagination in frilly ways, to go and write novels and plays and, performances, and to create paintings and so forth, to create daydreams and so forth from your imagination. And taught you that that's kind of like limited, that that's a superficial thing, this imagination. Then you got to take things from there and create it in substance and form. It takes a lot of grunt work. And it doesn't always work the way in this material world the imagination creates it. Well, son of a gun, this is the biggest part of the switch. Well, I mean, it's all big. You can't say one element's any better than another about babies. This imagination is our creative power when it's held in the circumstance of the heart, when the heart and the imagination are one. Then it is our creative source inside. And this is the means by which we do create in communion and connection with all humans that live, and the Mother Earth inside of us too. That great heart that brings forth creation in conjunction with the sun. And again, I point out that the sun is greatly changed in these times of now, that we have active agents in this world that are trying to block out the effects of the sun, but it's not happening. You can't block out mystical effect or spiritual effect, as you wish to call it. The reality of the realms will demonstrate itself no matter what, no matter who puts what in the air. There's no way out. Love wins. We're there. It's all history already. It's just a matter of going through the steps and seeing it happen, babies. That's it. We are the one love in all. We are creation in motion. As I've just described to you, in that imagination do we create. But it's only when it's empowered by the heart. As long as we're feeling the separateness, the isolation, then imagination, yeah, it's a frilly thing. It's still created in a different level, in a different way, but you're not conscious of it. See? All you got to do in order to see and empower yourself and never feel inadequate again about anything is to give yourself a little time in communion with the heart every day, as many moments as you can throughout the day. When you can take a little break, do so. Just close your eyes and notice that place in the center of your forehead. See the pictures that form there. Feel the energy in your open hands, open palms of the hands. I mean, it's that simple, really. You might want to do some thank yous and bring in some energies and some help and assistance when you're in that state. Whatever you feel is necessary. Follow the flow of your heart, your intelligence, your natural intelligence, and you'll naturally be in a creative space immediately. And if it doesn't happen immediately for you, give it a few minutes. Keep doing it. Just be consistent. It comes. You got to understand you've been in some pretty dark places, that you've been completely cut off from your own reality, from your own truth, from your own person. And what you've had, no wonder it felt inadequate, because you knew you didn't have a full person. And that's why it's always dealing in these worlds of compensation. Make it up for what you see as a lack in some way or another inside of yourself. It happens like automatic pilot in most human beings. Some are a little more conscious of it than others and deliberately set to make themselves over. That's a different story. But those who are ruled in by this unconsciousness, that's where you've been, babies, and you guys got to let go. Just understand it, and it's okay. You had to be. It was a safe place for you to get you through this dangerous world for a while. So you could come to this time of personal ascendancy, which is planetary ascendancy, which is the joining of all in divine union with the one love, the one heart that's in everything. It's so simple, but so beautiful, and so magnified, so vast, so all-inclusive. You wonder why there is so much life here, surrounding and waiting the planet. Man, it's applause. This is our audience. We're in the Truman Show, each and every one of us, and these are the audience. Each of us has at least 1 billion that actively participate, 1 billion souls of one sort or another, mostly angelic, that actively participate in our lives as we live as human beings. I've seen these great centers where they gather as these billions. It's kind of like a huge football stadium. I mean, 10 times anything we know here. Maybe 100 times anything we know here. It's just huge. And all these billions of beings come in there and seat and stay there 24/7 as we would see it. And in the center where the playing field would be, there's kind of a domed structure. It's kind of a flattened dome. It's rectangular. It's like a football field would be. And underneath that dome is all this glowing light and glitters and shakes and flashes and all kinds of things. That's the connection to the one human life that all of these beings have come to this huge stadium to experience with, to grow with, to encourage, to embellish where embellishment's needed, to take away when the need for taking away is, etc., etc. These are our creative assistants. These are our creative brothers and sisters. These beings know their imagination and convey that into your consciousness in their own carrying way. Huge sweeps. You know how a football game is when you get those huge emotional sweeps flowing across the crowd? Well, huge sweeps happen like that here too, and it ain't football, and it ain't violent. No, for the most part anyway. You guys get that way, yes. These beings don't. They're the supreme peace in each and every one of us. It's part of our basis in life that keeps us alive at all times. And of course, it's empowered by the divine feminine within. That's what gets it to stick. That's why everyone has this. So each of us in our own right is a little Truman. 10 billion of us, man. That's a lot of shows going on at one time. And imagine, when we edit this thing down and put together some clips and make a feature length out of it, whoa. It'll make Cecil B. DeMille and Francis Ford Coppola and Robert Altman and all those famous old directors and producers just jealous to the center of their bones, but not really. It'll please them to no end. The old way is the jealousy. The new way is like, wow, look what those guys did. I hope we can do that too. That's the new way. We appreciate one another in ways we've never seen before. Somebody makes the tiniest of moves. The applause is tremendous throughout the universe. Somebody gets to one little moment of awakening. Holy cow. It's like an orgasm through the universe. Really, it's that joyous. When you're starting to get it right, you would not believe the cheering going on right now. Yeah, you would. Because in your inner ears, you hear it. You feel it already. You know the vibration of love. And this is why it's getting stronger. We're getting cheered on by countless numbers of beings from throughout the universe who are participating actively with us in every life. So see, we've been well equipped throughout these lives, far more than we ever thought when we lived here, because when you're living in it, you don't see the fullness of the paradigm, not in the past. That's the biggest difference between the past and the present moment of now and the ascension we're moving into. You'll be fully conscious and present with all energies within and about you. You won't have any worries, you won't have any, there's no doubt, there's no guesswork. It's all just right there in surety. S-U-R-E-T-Y. Surety. In other words, it's something you can rely on. This flow of the heart, this flow into creation. This beautiful and magnificent person that you are. This caring and loving being that has cared enough to devolve themselves into the lowliest of presences and live as a maggot would live, living off the rot of life. I mean, we've done some pretty gnarly lives here and there. As divine beings. Dumbed down and reduced to nothing. And subject to the whims of what we saw as violent nature in the world around us and the people around us and the animals and everything, that was an element we had to deal with. Creatively so. We did our best with what we had. We got through it, babies. And we thrive because of it. Again, for those few moments of love that place themselves throughout history and time. You know, every now and then, one arises here and one arises there, one arises there. And we carry it forward. The energy of love, the energy of the true heart, got through the age of darkness. That's how we won this game in the first place. The assured love at the center from the mother heart that kept us going no matter what. And then all the kind of assistance we got as we worked our way through ascendancy, and all the beautiful, beautiful and poetic moments of sweet love that came forward out of the darkness. When our most challenging times is when we find the sweetest love. When we become most real, we let go of the pretense by which we've lived, and we meet each other eye to eye and heart to heart. It's quite a different circumstance, and these are the moments that have kept time flowing forward again and again and again. Humans, you barely know your power here. But you're beginning to remember as I sit here and talk about it, as you redream yourself into a new way of being. That's exactly what you're doing in this imaginative heart of yours. That's our story as human beings. That's our beauty. That's our truth. That's our life. That's our love. That's who we are. And babies, we got rhythm, we got soul, we got rock, and we got roll, and ain't nobody interfering with our little stroll right into paradise. Babies, we're home. And I, for one, and Mother God, welcome you back to the reality of truthful love. Babies, you're listening to the Coyote Medicine Show, only on the Hazy Radio Network. Your ticket to flight in the middle of the night. And babies, all day long here, well, 3 hours anyway. The daylight flight. The Coyote Medicine Show, again, exclusively on the Hazy Radio Network, hazyradionetwork.com/listen-chat. If you're not over in the chat room, baby, you ought to be. Because we have a lot of fun over there, don't you see? You know, I hang out in there every now and then, but we got a family, baby, hanging out in there that scratches each other's back and takes care of each other, and we just have a great old time doing it. I tell you, I don't know why this worthless commercials has to keep popping up, man, I tell you. Isn't that fun? But oh well, we can live with it. We are, you know, the love of life. We're cool. You know, we're totally cool, babies. I had a beautiful song all set up, and now that kicked it out. So we'll do an even better one. You know, that's the thing about this little DJ game, babies. Everyone gets a little better. Every song's a little better. Every moment's a little better. Every heart's opening a little more. Each time we even get on here and say howdy, baby. We are so together, so alive, so in love with this great life here on the Coyote Medicine Show that it becomes irresistible to you. Oh, stay tuned, baby. There's more to come here on this daytime flight with your host, Grandpa Peter Coyote, and Mother God here in Heart Existence, babies. We are rocking down